We currently have the best deal of the year live now on PoodleCFB.com. If you use code FLASH, capital F, you get $65 off the annual plan, or if you use code FLASH 2025, capital F, you get $6 off the monthly plan. You unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Come join thousands of other members in the fastest growing and best CFB Dynasty community out there. Don't miss out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over what you absolutely need to know for every Dynasty you're a part of. And if you haven't already, guys, check out PoodleCFB.com. We recently added so many new tools, updated so many of our features, and we keep killing it in our data lab. Our chat is just off the walls all day with studies, advice, constant help. You can at me directly in there whenever you want. It basically is everything you need to know in CFB and things you didn't even know you need to know at your fingertips, on your phone, on a computer, on a tablet, any time of day for any questions you have. It really takes the guesswork out of CFB. No longer do you have to search for a video to find what you want. Come join PoodleCFB.com, get access to all our new tools. Come join thousands of members like yourself. Use code FLASH, capital F, for $65 off the annual plan, or code FLASH 2025, capital F, for $7 off the monthly plan. It's a recurring lifetime deal, so once you do lock yourself in, you keep that discount for the majority or for the entirety of your stay over on PoodleCFB.com. So make sure to check it out, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it. So I get questions all the time about so many different things regarding coach builds, player builds, recruiting. Should I go for this? Should I go for that? And my answer to everything is what I'm going to tell you, like 85 to 90% of the time, is probably the right thing to do. But there is a 10% variance and scale that you need to follow for. So I always say this in my videos. I'll make a video showing a recruiting strategy, and I utilize Alabama because it makes for a better video, because I can show you what it looks like when you have all the builds and you have the packages, what it will look like. Now, what you have to do is scale that to your dynasty. So if you're a smaller school, I got to get those packages first, but the strategy still applies. But now this is where it comes into fruition for everything, and that's kind of, let's talk about coaching packages. And this is so important, and people ask me this, and I always say, take all my advice and then scale it for your league. So let's look at a few things holistically. Some leagues in Dynasty mode go 15, 20 years online, 32 members, playing all year long, such a great time. They advance daily, that's fine. Other leagues advance every 72 hours. You guys get through maybe 6 or 7 seasons. The coaching strategy on there is so different. There's some leagues that play like 4 or 5 seasons and then restart. Coaching strategy is so different. Let me tell you why. If you are playing under 7 seasons, that changes so much of coaching packages and what you should be doing. Let's start with some of the obvious ones. The ones that take long automatically go out the window. So let me actually start with some low-hanging fruit here. If you're in a league with your friends and family who you guys just start up like 2-3 year dynasties real quick and just play through them and restart, the best package in here, if you had to guess, is not what you think. It'd be Tactician. I hate Tactician. I'm a guy who plays 10 plus seasons. Tactician does not help me beyond the first few years. Now, if you're only playing for 2-3 years, recruiting doesn't really matter. Player development matters, but not like overly. CEO basically doesn't matter at all at that point. Even if by the time you unlock it, you're basically over. What matters is what can help you today. And that's going to be Tactician. It's going to make all your players and what you do in the game play a lot better. So when people say, oh, I love Tactician, helps me out. Yeah, if you're in an offline league or you're playing a few seasons, that does make sense. But I'm talking from a long-term standpoint where this is an inefficient package. If you're playing a few seasons, Tactician's king. You're getting all these boosts to the players you already have, plus all of these boosts to things that actually happen on the field that we can't validate, but it's there. And then you probably, tie in a little motivator and some talent developer in there, and suddenly you have some development on your 3 years worth of players. That's fine. Now, if your league's only going 7 years, I don't really like Tactician as much. Let's say 7 or 8 years, because Tactician at that point, it's really just for the first 2-3 years. You still have to bring in a whole new class. You still have to develop them. But what starts to lose value for me in that 7 year or less window is actually going to be Elite Recruiter. So let's talk about Elite Recruiter here. Elite Recruiter requires 2 classes, and we're assuming custom coaches here. We're assuming you need to get at least 2 to unlock Elite Recruiter, right? So for Elite Recruiter, you'd have to get 2 top 5 classes. For me, you need to, in a 7-year dynasty, the only way Elite Recruiter is worth it is if you unlock it in the first 2 years. Because after those first 2 years, think about the teams that some people start with current coaches, like Alabama already has it, LSU, Georgia, they already have Elite Recruiter. So they're already going to be a top 3-5 recruiting team. So you already barely have any space to make it in there. But let's assume it's custom. Elite Recruiter is going to take you at bare minimum 2 years. And most of the time, it's not going to take 2 years. It's going to take you like 3 or 4. If you get to year, in my opinion, if you get past year 3 in a 7-year dynasty and you don't have Elite Recruiter yet, I recommend you go away from it. And honestly, most people will be like, oh, but you told me that in the build and I went that direction. None of this changes anything, because for you to have wasted points in Elite Recruiter, you need to unlock it. If you didn't get Elite Recruiter yet, you could just pivot and put it elsewhere, which is fine. You didn't waste anything. It's like people saying, oh, tier 1 motivator is now nerfed. That was a waste. Not really, because tier 3 motivator is required in every build they put out there. So you had to do it anyways. So you're losing nothing. So what I'm going to talk about here is how you have to pivot based on the league you're in. So if you are going in a 7-year league and it's year 3 and you haven't gotten Elite Recruiter yet, maybe you have one, but if you haven't got it yet, it's a waste. I'll tell you why. Dynasty moves in cycles of about 3 to 4 years. So if you get to year 3 and you haven't unlocked it yet, that means that you'd have to complete year 4. I'm talking like holistically finish year 3. You finish year 3 and you haven't unlocked it. You maybe have one of the 2 needed. So you're getting into year 4. At that point, Elite Recruiter's cooked. If you know you're already halfway through the Dynasty life cycle for you guys, it's cooked because now it's in 3 to 4 year cycles. So let's say in year 4, you now finish it and you unlock your second Elite Recruiter, your second top 5 class for Elite Recruiter. Then you get into year 5. Year 5 is essentially now the first time you could utilize it. Year 6 is the first year you have any level of freshmen, 5 stars, elite guys, right, that you brought up with Elite Recruiter. Year 7 is their redshirt freshman season. So if you don't unlock it by year 3 to start, basically those first 2 seasons, maybe year 3 at the latest, essentially going into year 7, none of the players you've recruited are even going to touch the field. Now let's look at year 8. Year 8, they're in their redshirt sophomore year. At which point, if you built up the ideal build with Talent Developer and Motivator, they may be able to touch the field, but they may not be ready yet, but they could be. By year 9 is when they're finally like flying juniors, ready to go, take the world by storm, right? That's year 9. Year 10 is their senior year. So if you think about it from that perspective, if you guys aren't going 10 years, you're not going over 7 years, there's really no need for you to almost ever get Elite Recruiter unless you get it in the first 3 years. That's back to my point from before about a 4-year, if you're playing 4-year dynasties, 5-year dynasties, getting Elite Recruiter is pointless, because even if you do unlock it by year 2, they're not hitting until year 5 or 6. So in my opinion, you need to understand that when you're building the elite coach build and you're looking at what you have, you may be better off going for a coordinator that has Elite Recruiter, 2 coordinators, and then pivoting to building with your head coach if you're in a dynasty like that. Now let's go to a few others that drastically kind of change here. CEO. If you're in a league where you're going under 7 years, getting CEO requires 2 national championships. And again, if you get to year, I'd say year 3 or year 4, similar to Elite Recruiter, but 4 is fine. Year 4, you don't have CEO yet, give up on saving points for it in a 7-year, 8-year dynasty. Because the only thing here that would help you, like gains getter is cool, because it's not like recruiting. You don't need to wait years for that. It'll just work. More the merrier works, but it's for recruits, so same kind of process. If you get this by year 4, those recruits that you're getting with this won't help you to year 8. Dream School, same concept. Bundle discount, Gasoline, this is helpful, I guess. I personally probably wouldn't buy it, but it's helpful. Second Chance Keeper, this definitely is useful, especially in any year once you get it. Lasting Impression, same thing as before. And Senior Superlatives. So Senior Superlatives and Gasoline and Second Chance Keeper are probably from some of the few, and Gains Getter, the only ones that would help you. But if you're in year 4, why are you going to waste time with CEO? At that point, go all in on development. And Program Builder takes a slight hit here in terms of what I like from Program Builder, which is going to be the pipelines. Bringing your pipelines up by year 4 or 5, well, that just gives you more recruits. So if you're in a sub 7-year dynasty, Program Builder, CEO, and Elite Recruiter take a huge hit for me. Now, what stays true throughout all dynasties, and I'm going to get into like 10, 15-year dynasties. What stays true throughout all dynasties, no matter if it's 4-year, 2-year, 5-year, 6-year, 7, 20-year, 30-year, is going to be Talent Developer, Motivator, Strategist, and technically Architect. Really. That's not my main one. I go Talent Developer over Architect. But the thing with Motivator is you get your offseason boost. So if you start with these great players like on Alabama or any school, you're going to build them with Motivator year 1. That helps you right off rip, and every year after that. Talent Developer, outside of tier 4, if you're not going longer than that, you don't need tier 4. Tier 1 through 3 helps you a ton with building up the players you already have on your roster and not having to focus on recruiting. Strategist is going to be huge because tier 3 gets you the deal breaker threshold, which will allow you to hold on to your players so you don't have to overly, even if you're not recruiting much because you know you're going to be done by year 6 or 7, you'll hold on to your elite players that could potentially transfer. So that's huge. Now let's get into the 10, 15-year dynasties. 10, 15-year dynasties, this is where custom coaches and my builds and my thought process really comes all together. That's where CEO, Program Builder, and Elite Recruiter are so valuable. And by the way, amongst all of this, Talent Developer, Motivator, and a Strategist, Architect, they still hold their same value. They never get better or worse. They're good every single year. But where you're actually saving points and thinking about CEO, elite recruiter, and program builder is if you plan to play over that 8-year mark. Because over that 8-year mark, it essentially means you could get elite recruiter and you could go all in and get these top tier elite guys for the next 10-15 seasons. You could get the great pipeline boost with the Dream School Insta Commit, with the first pipeline interest dominating recruiting cycles and becoming a dynasty powerhouse. The problem is that requires a few years of bringing in 5 stars and a few years of Insta Commits and top tier pipelines for you to start that powerhouse dynasty feel. You can't do that in a sub 7-year dynasty. Now, let's move to the next thing. Take away the years here. Know what you're capable of. So let's say you are in a 10-12 year dynasty and you're in year 5 and you haven't even cracked the top 10 recruiting class. You're not a great recruiter, or you picked a school that recruiting's just hard with. Like you took Syracuse. They're not in a good pipeline area. They're away from the SEC recruits. They're away from the Western recruits, like in the Cali area. You're near no recruits. You never have any early pipeline interest. You don't win that many games. Elite recruiter's just not in the cards for you. You need to learn to pivot and stop saving points for it. At that point, you need to pivot to a all development build, or a development build with program builder, which is where I kind of lean, where maybe you won't be elite recruiting the top guys, but your pipelines will be much, much better to where you can actually get enough guys on your board to kind of cherry pick and take some easy low interest guys or high interest guys with low proximity and some guys that maybe wouldn't have been on your board otherwise. That's where I lean. Or if you're in year 5-6 and you haven't even won a playoff game, stop saving points for CEO. Or if you're in year 5 or 6, you haven't been a top 10 class and you haven't won a few playoff games, this is where I say everything's to scale. If you're not a guy who's top 10 in your league and you're not a guy who's top 10 recruiting either, throw away those points. Even if you are in a 15-point league, go straight 15-year league. Go straight for talent developer, strategist, talent developer, motivator, perhaps architect, tactician. Honestly, like, stats are good. They help you. But if you're a guy that's not winning playoff games, the extra stats you're getting here aren't going to make you win the national championship. This is great for a guy who's already top 10 in their league, and this just gives you that extra edge. For me, I still don't really love Tactician unless you're doing like a 3-4 year dynasty. But I hope this helps you guys out to understand. This should give you some more background on every video I do to understand that everything's to scale. Well, I think Elite Recruiter's incredible if you're in a short dynasty, or you're just not in a great pipeline area or a good school and you just can't seem to get yourself, and you're in a league that has Bamas and Georgias and you're like Memphis, and it's like, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to just understand when to just wave the white flag and go, you know what? I'm pivoting. So for me in my current league, I'm USC. And as much as I want elite recruiter and I want CEO and I want all these things, the league allowed, to have Georgia, LSU, Bama. They're locking up those top 3 to 5 spots every year. I may just end up pivoting and going straight player growth and player retention with strategists and trying an alternate setup on them, which should be a lot better for me because then I can get to 99 rather quickly, not have to fight for those top guys. That's my current thoughts on that, guys. I hope that did help. If you want to see all the data studies we do on all these packages, for you to see exactly how effective it is and kind of what our consensus are, we have a lot of alternate builds in there. We have like our meta build for the casual players who can't win as many games, our build for the lower tier schools. We have it all over on PoodleCFB.com, set up in spreadsheets and set up in the Discord. Make sure to check it out, guys. The world of CFB at your fingertips, takes all the guesswork out of it, turns hours worth of studying and videos into minutes worth of reading and quick hitters and final thoughts and TLDRs. Highly recommend you check it out. Remember, first people to DM me on Twitter get a special rate if they text me code Dynasty or send me code Dynasty. And of course, code FLASH, capital F, gets you $65 off the annual plan, and code FLASH 2025 gets you $7 off the monthly plan. Come lock yourself in to a recurring deal on our best deal of the year. Come join thousands of members just like yourself. If you're not in PoodleCFB.com already, you're at a disadvantage in your league because plenty of people in your league are probably already in it. So come join, get set up. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.